Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Shoreline the Driveway. We are going to be talking about Shoreline today. So, if you'll notice, this is at Tim's Ford Lake. This is just down from the property. I'm actually standing on the neighbor's property, but yes, I have permission. There's the house right there. Here's the view from the porch. Here are some trees I've been trying to clear. Now, I can't clear all of them, and I don't need to clear all of them. To get a view, if the tree canopy is way up here, I don't need to mess with that big tree because the view line is actually down at this level. So ones that I'd be looking to get rid of would be like this one. It's kind of bushy and short. I could cut that one. That one was on the water line. So this is kind of what I wanted to show you. This is not normal water level. What they do is the Tennessee Valley Authority controls the water level by use of the dams. And these floating docks are designed to move up and down. Right now it is all the way down. And some are actually sitting on the ground. This one is partially sitting on the ground, as you can see. A small part of it's actually sitting on the ground. And many of these, in fact, it looks like a pallet has been placed there. So when the water level is down, it just comes down and sits on the pallet. And that's actually very smart because you're not going to get damage from the gravel with that. That's actually smart. I don't see most people doing that. Now, some of them will stay on the water. They're barely on the water, but they're on the water. This is an inlet. If you go out this way and go to the right, you're in the main channel. But this is one of the inlets. It also goes to the left, and it forks again, and there's one to the right and one to the left. But this is the closest one to our house. And my property line on that side comes down to about halfway, and then on this side comes down somewhere right in here. So when the water is at high, I won't say tide, it's not really a tide, but when it comes up, it's up in this area, the water is. And so it's really close to the property, but I don't have dock access. Like I couldn't build a dock. I couldn't get a permit and build a dock. I don't think Tim's Ford is allowing any more docks anyway. I think the ones you have are the ones you're stuck with. So both neighbors have allowed me to cut whatever trees down here I want to cut. They don't care. Now, TVA has a rule too. You can't cut within so many feet of the water line. Now, I don't know if that matters if the water line draws back. Now, does that put these trees in play where I can cut them? I don't know. I'd have to find out. I'm just using my best information, I guess. Or, I'm not taking any huge trees out. I'm not trying to drop big trees like that. I'm just not going to mess with all that. That's a lot of work. Maybe this little bushy thing here, but I don't know. I'd have to get back on the porch and look down and see if that one's in the way. What I want to do is try to get as much water view as possible because you have two ways to list a house when you sell it. You can list it with a water view, water front, water access, water. So there's all kind of verbs or adjectives you can put behind that to help sell the property. We would just have water view and water access, but not from the property. We have a private community boat ramp. So it's private to the members of the community. There's a key. And that's nice. And it's really close. It's like not even a quarter mile down the road going in that direction. But I just kind of wanted to show the water level drop. You can see now looked like he's added some new gravel, or we used to call it riprap in Virginia on the river. I don't know what it is here. Maybe it's the same thing, but it's just large stone gravel. And what it does, it protects the banks from being eroded. And what would erode them in a lake, because you don't have waves, or all the wave boats, the wake boats. There's a lot of recreational use on this lake. And so the water is never in the summertime this tranquil and this quiet. This is good for fishermen. And the fishermen and the wake boat owners are always at odds about who has the right to do what. But, they need to coexist. So But the wake boats do create quite a wake, and some of them were more disrespectful than others. But anyway, so what it does is the waves crash against the shoreline and eventually erodes the water or the soil, and you end up with a slope bank, and it just creates a mess, I guess. And so they use this rock, and this is not cheap. I don't know what it costs, but to bring this rock in, and we don't live near a quarry, and I don't know where the nearest quarry is, but you got to pay a truck and the driver and then the load to bring it out here, and then they have to place it. Usually they dump it, and then they use a skid steer on tracks on this steep hill. As you can see, some of these properties are very steep. Look at this one here. Very steep. It's beautiful property, but it's also kind of wasteful because you can't really utilize much of it. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, they drop this. The water comes. I've seen this water right along in here. At high in the summer when they allow the water to come back in, and then they draw it back. It looks like about, I don't know, maybe a 20-foot drop. It's hard to really gauge it. But they drop it, from what I understand, for the anticipation of the rainy season and any snow melt, so that there's no flooding. And then in the summer they open the dam and they allow the lake to slowly come back up, and it'll come all the way up to where this dock is straight across. So that's how much it drops. But I thought it was just interesting, and I wanted to show you a little bit of Shoreline here on Shoreline, the driveway. And you can see there's homes. There's one there, kind of hard to see him, and then there's one there. There's one next to him right there, and right there, and all along there. Beautiful views. And they can build like this one here. It's pretty immaculate. Looks like a brick house. I can zoom in here a little bit. Look how pretty. And when this is all green, you can't see these houses so well. You can see them a little bit, but when it's like this, you can see them clear as day. I just saw 2 deer running down the hill over here a few minutes ago. They may end up over here. I see deer on the property all the time, crossing through here. Usually you can hear them before you can see them, because leaves on the ground, you can hear the leaves and you can tell it's a deer. But we'll walk back up this road, but I just kind of wanted to show you that. I thought it was interesting. I think it would be a good idea around these boat docks in particular to get a metal detector and walk the dry area around, really around the whole lake, but you could be doing that for weeks. And you might go find some coins, some keys, maybe a cell phone. I mean, things that people drop going from the dock to the boat and boat to the dock. They do have companies here on the lake that will scuba dive for keys and phones, people trying to recover items. But right around the land here where the water drops for you, I think you could walk it. And even by eyesight, you could find stuff. And with a metal detector, you find even more stuff. But that's something that might be interesting to do sometime in the near future. But that could be fun. And so I'll take you guys with me up the hill, and you can see I want to start breathing heavy about halfway up. The slope gets really steep right by those stairs. And you can kind of tell by the tire marks here that it gets steep. Now some of these people they buy side-by-sides and golf carts just to go down to the boat ramp. The people here don't normally walk to the boat ramp. That's too much. They use side-by-sides, and I guess it's a golf cart community, but I think the community is pretty small to be buying a golf cart, but I won't have a golf cart. I think it's a little much to pay to just drive a dead-end street. Plus I can use the e-bike or the bicycles. Well, I'm just walking this. Yeah, it gets really steep. This house was for sale at one point. When we moved in, it was, I think, listed for $980,000, and then it came off the market. So I think he just decided not to sell. And he has a garage there next to it. That's a lot of steps. And that's all wooden. These are. Starting to get steep. You can hear my breath starting to get winded, out of shape. I'm out of shape. I've dropped 20 pounds, but my cardio is it's hard when you're 59. This would be nothing. I could run up this hill when I was 20. It's amazing how different it is. Some of these driveways would just be scary with some ice on them. I mean, I'm right in the middle of the steepest part now. Huh. Beautiful area though. I've been working on thinning some of these trees over here just to kind of get rid of the underbrush. I need to do more. It looks like I haven't done nothing. But I have done quite a bit actually. There is more to do. There's the back of his garage. Take another look. So this is not even my neighbor's main driveway. This is just going down to the boat dock. And there are some steeper driveways than this one. Okay, so that's his driveway. He's got a circle drive right there. Then he has this one. And then my property starts right here. Somewhere right here. And it goes from this pole. I think I have like 660 feet of road frontage. A little crazy. So this is a half acre here that goes from the pole, roughly the phone pole, to this marker here. And more technically this one. And then it goes straight down the hill, and there's markers down the hill, but I'm not going to walk down there. And then this is another lot. Now this lot came with the house. It came with the 3 lots. And then we bought that other lot because it became available right next to this one. And this one, I don't know where the marker is. But it actually comes up here somewhere. I think this is the water meter for that lot. So that meter, that property marker boundary is probably right in here. So this lower road used to be a road. It looks like it's grassed over, but it looks like it's got gravel under it. It used to be a road. So this used to be a road that comes through here, and some dirt's been piled up there to block the road. But it goes all the way through. And I guess at some point this was a road until they decided to build this road. Now that all predates me. This is my water meter. Here's another shut off. And then up at the house is a shut off. So when I cut the water off, I usually cut it off right up there. But yeah. So now we're back up on the top of the property. You can see how high the roof is. And in that other video, that squirrel jumped and landed way out here somewhere. That's quite a drop. But the back porch gives a great view to where we just were. This tree might be a problem, but I haven't taken it out yet. I'm waiting to see what it does. I might be able to just trim the side of it and let it get up tall enough, and then it won't be a problem. I don't try to kill trees on purpose. But I'll zoom in. And so there's the view. So trees that I would probably like to get rid of is that one. And to the right, that one. These up here are okay. They're not really in the view. You want the lake view right here. Pretty. And then of course on the porch, let me zoom back out. You're perched right there. Nice little place to hang out. And here's another way up. And then I'll show you the other side of the property. And you can go out either way here. You can go this way or you can go this way. The previous owners had a dog cage fence right here. First thing that had to go. Now there's space behind here. And you can walk that way too. So the lot that the house and the garage sit on, property line is right about in here. There is a marker over there, is right about here. And then this lot too belongs to me all the way to that pole. So if you walk the road all the way around, it goes quite a ways. I've been slowly trying to get rid of these trees too. Most of these trees, with the exception of just a couple over here, are all stairway to heaven trees. They're invasive and they multiply and they grow like weeds. And I want to get rid of all of them. And I've been getting rid of them. You can see a lot of stumps in here. I've been trying to thin them out and get rid of these. They're just ugly. I don't know what I'll do with this. I think this would look nice if it were just grass like this. If I got these all cut and then got rid of the stumps and maybe graded this down a little bit so it's nice and flat, the grass would naturally take over when the sun hits it. And then I could mow all the way back, feasibly back to there. And this would just be a nice big field of grass, and that would look really nice. Like the neighbor's yard is more thinned out than mine, and it looks really nice. I'll show you real quick, you can kind of see it. I think I can zoom in from here. Let's see, people just park their boat trailers here. And the neighbor over here owns that property past the pole. And he would park his boat trailer there. So people just buy land just to park their boat trailer on. That seems like a pretty big investment, but I guess land is always worth what you pay for it because it ain't going to go down. They're not making any more land. So you can see how his trees are just kind of more spaced out and really nice back there. Let me see. I like that look where you have the trees but you can mow around it. It looks really nice. That's what I'd like to achieve over here. I'd like to just thin this out and get rid of it and just have grass right there. I think it would look nice. It would look like this. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Shoreline to driveway, and we literally walked from Shoreline to driveway in today's video. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for seeing us. Check you later. You see the deer crossing the road? Deer are out here all the time. All the time.